Boots on the ground in Iran are not part of the plan at this time. With military operations continuing, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced yesterday President Trump will preside over the dignified transfer of the 6 American soldiers killed in an Iranian strike on a port in Kuwait. And former Notre Dame football coaching legend Lou Holtz has died. He was 89. Notre Dame Athletics said in a post on X that Holtz died in Orlando, surrounded by family. The College Football Hall of Fame member was outspoken about his Catholic faith. His family said Coach Holtz would be, quote, remembered for his enduring values of faith, family, service, and an unwavering belief in the potential of others. For more news with a Catholic perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
Hi there, welcome to Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. And, of course, we're so glad you're with us, and we hope that you'll join us here on the program to make it another really wonderful conversation. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. I am Jerry Usher, along with Debbie Georgiani.
Well, hello there. And yes, I'm so excited to be with you, Jerry, and our Take 2 family. So yes, we've got a great question that we are putting forth so that you can weigh in on this and give us your takes, your lived experiences. And here it goes. What life event or circumstances changed your priorities? What life event or circumstances changed your priorities? And Jerry will go a little bit further into this question, but we want to get the phone lines lit up and you can start to process what you're going to share with all of us. But you don't want to sit this out because this is going to be a really good and informative, educational, insightful broadcast today. We can just feel it. So the number is 833-288-EWTN. Again, that's 833-288-3986.
Yeah, life just kind of moves along at its pace, and then all of a sudden things happen. For you, that might have been, maybe getting married might have changed your priorities, having your first child or many children. Maybe it was a tragedy. Maybe you lost everything in a house fire, or maybe you lost a death of a loved one. It could have been an illness of some kind. Maybe could have been something really good, could have been something at the time that seemed really bad. But what event or series of life circumstances changed your perspective on life, your priorities, and how you looked at life and approached life in general? That's what we want to hear today, because there are a lot of people. We always say this on the show: what you share is going to have an impact on the rest of those who are listening, the Take 2 family. So as Debbie says, don't sit it out. Join us here right now. Always the best time to call at the beginning of the show, 833-288 EWTN, 833-288-3986.
That is the number to call, so we do want to hear from you. We have Matt on the phones. Michael's at the controls today, our wonderful producer. Rich is on social media. Jerry, please wave to everyone. We just love the chats. We love the socials going strong. So we do want to hear from you. So think about it for a moment. I know you have to get your thoughts together about your life and what life event or circumstances really did change your priorities. We want to hear from you. Give us the details, not because we're nosy, but because we really care, and your story matters. It can help another soul today, or many souls today. So don't sit this out. Please dial in at 833-288-EWTN. Again, that's 833-288-3986.
We have these moments in life that we all go through them, so we know that you have. And as you ponder this, as you think about it, maybe you need a couple moments to come up with something, or maybe to narrow it down, because maybe there have been several moments or events or a series of circumstances in your life that just changed your priorities altogether. But please do share on the program today. It is your show. It is driven by you. You make it what it is each and every day. There go the phone lines. Thank you very much. 833-288-EWTN, 288-3986. Again, what event or series of circumstances changed your priority? Just the way you approach life in general, the way you approach relationships, the way you approach your relationship with God, maybe the way you have prioritized your faith more than it was maybe at some point in your life. Please join us and share.
I totally agree with all of that you just explained to all of us, Jerry. And I think it's important that we do look at these life events, these major circumstances that have really had made us shift and change our priorities. You know, when we have these kinds of major things that happen, it does change our perspective. It does change the way we look at the future. It even makes us go into the past a little bit and try to reflect on that. So there's all ways we can cover this, all different angles, but we do need to hear from you. So if you sit this out, if you think somebody else is going to tell your story, well, that's not it. That's not how it works, because everyone that calls in, you are meant to be on air with us, and you are meant to share your lived experience, because that's how Take Two works, and that is the best way Take Two works. So the number is 833-288 EWTN. That's 833-288-3986.
Well, we hear it all the time, too, via email and text and social media. People say, you know, something on the show that I heard that you said, Debbie, or that you said, Jerry, or one of the callers called in and shared, really changed, my life in a very positive way. In fact, I got an email at seminaryjerry@gmail.com the other day, Debbie, from a wonderful listener in the state of Washington who lost her husband of 40 years, and she said that she was really going through a lot of depression. And I just happened to share on the program, I said, depression makes you think it's never going to end, but it does. I shared that statement, but it does. And she said she was just really right at that very moment wondering if her depression would ever go away and clear up. She really saw that as a God moment, but that changed her perspective on how she is going through the grieving process of losing her husband. So this show it's powerful, folks, and you're the ones who make it so. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986.
There's an open phone line just for you. So just be thinking, go back during the whole course of your life and those major events that happened to you, which really got you to look at things differently, going forward. Maybe it forever changed you. Maybe it changed you for the better or for the worse. We don't know. Let's really explore this. That's how we do it on Take Two. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. And we really just pour it all out there so that other souls can benefit from what we share on this platform. So there's just a couple open phone lines. We'd like you to fill up one of them. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. We're live, a call-in show, so that means that if you're listening right now, you can participate. It's super easy. All you have to do is dial this number, 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. You'll speak to Matt. He'll chat with you for a few minutes, hear a little bit of your life story. He'll put you on hold. You'll get to listen live, and then Jerry and I will slip you right into the discussion. It'll be like we're in a virtual living room, just kind of changing the world with our lived experiences. And I just love when there's one open phone line for the first set of calls, Jerry. I just know that somebody's feeling that tug in their spirit, and they just need to lean in and say yes. What do you say?
I say exactly right. Matt is a very busy man right now screening your calls because you have a lot to say about this. So please grab that remaining open phone line. Share with us a life event or circumstances that changed your priorities. 833-288-EWTN. Be right back.
On the next Beacon of Truth, Roxy Beckles is back talking faith and fitness and today's soulful song.
I'm Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers, and I invite you to join me for Beacon of Truth.
This is a Did You Know moment with Sandra McDevitt. Did you know a certain brand of chocolate was named after the grotto in Lourdes? The name of the chocolate is Ferrero Rocher. The founder of the company, Michel Ferraro, a devout Catholic, named the chocolate after the Rocher de Mastabel, the grotto in Lourdes, where the Blessed Mother appeared to St. Bernadette in 1858. Rocher means rock. He attributed the success of his business to the Blessed Mother. After making a pilgrimage to Lourdes, he made the decision to name the chocolate after the grotto. The chocolate's crunchy hazelnut shell and gold wrapper were designed to resemble the rocky appearance of the Lourdes Grotto. Next time you see the brand Ferrero Rocher, think of Lourdes and the Blessed Mother. I'm Sandra McDevitt for EWTN Radio.
This great season of Lent is a time for all of us to do battle with those things which block or hinder our path to God.
EWTN, your Lenten companion.
Celebrating the precious gift of life.
This is EWTN Radio.
Well, we're all going to learn and grow from what you share today on the program. We're going to get to your calls in just a moment. What life events, circumstances changed your priorities? Pretty much just kind of the way you look at life in general, how you look at God, how you look at the church, your faith, your family, your kids. We are going to hear from you after I tell you about a novena to the Mother of God for the nation. Boy, we can use this right now. Novena to the Mother of God for the nation provides prayer that challenges us to a deeper conversion to Christ and a more generous life of charity. With these intentions in mind, we will turn to Mary and meditate on the graces of her life. It's available at EWTN.com/novena.
Oh, we do need novenas, more prayers, absolutely. So let's get to our first caller. If you'd like to jump in on the conversation, we're asking about what life event or circumstances changed your priorities going forward. So please be thinking about that and maybe call in. We'd love to hear your beautiful voice. And we're going to get to Lynn first, Jerry. First-time caller from Michigan on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Lynn. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for the welcome.
You're welcome.
I was listening, and I was hesitant to call, to be honest with you, because I'm a little shy and introverted, but when you said it could maybe change somebody else's perspective, the Holy Spirit said, get out of your shyness and call. Something that happened to me, I've always been very close with my parents, and my dad got cancer in 2017. And while he was going through chemo, we lost him unexpectedly in 2018. And my parents were married for 52 years. We were devastated, as you can imagine, and I instantly knew that she couldn't be alone. I lived from them about 35 minutes away, and I immediately moved my mom in. She never spent another night alone. We were there for each other. For the sad times, but also to build new memories, which we did. It was amazing. It was a blessing. I looked at it as she took care of me for so long and dedicated her life to her children. It was now my turn. And I lost her a couple of years ago, but I really look at it as such a blessing that I was given in such sad circumstances. You can still see where you can use your spirit to help light somebody else.
Wow. Lynn, that is just a powerful testimony that you just gave. Thank you so much. We're sorry about the loss of your father, like you said, unexpectedly, and now your mother a couple of years ago. But 52 years they were married. Thanks be to God for that. And I loved what you said. You said, you were able to share with one another and support one another through the sad times, but you mentioned new memories too. And I think that was just so important, that you didn't, stay stuck. You weren't just kind of looking backwards. You were looking forward, and you still continued to live your life with your mother. And God bless you. You kind of turn things around. Like you said, she cared for you all of the years that you were growing up. So you had that, I consider it a blessed opportunity that you had to care for your mother during the time that she was with you. So God bless you for that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Lynn, I'm so glad you stepped through that reserved nature of yourself and made the phone call, because it is important. It's important that we share our stories and our journey, and whether it's so difficult with cancer and with a loss, and how we have persevered and survived and thrived. And so, Lynn, we think you're awesome. We're glad you were a first time. Yeah, we're glad
Thank you. I think you guys are great and awesome too. You're a blessing to have every day to listen to. So thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you, Lynn.
Thank
You're so
you.
nice. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we don't want to put any pressure on you, but we will. You got to call us again, okay?
I definitely will. Thank you so much. A blessing to you.
God bless you. Have a beautiful
That was a beautiful call.
Yeah, great way to get this discussion started today.
Yeah, that was amazing. Okay, so Lynn's going to free that phone line for you at 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. What life event or circumstance changed your priorities going forward?
Okay, let's go to Eileen in West Palm Beach, Florida, listening on the EWTN app. Hello, Eileen. Welcome to the program.
Hi, good afternoon, Jerry and Debbie. Thank you for answering my call. And this is my second time. It has been a long time. I share with you in the show that my son, when he was 1, he fell in the pool 1.5, 19 months old. And unfortunately, he was in the water for too long, and he suffered brain damage, and he ended up with a trach and a G-tube. And due to that, he is now 17 years old, still with us. Praise be to God. My intake is the event, this trauma changed my husband and myself life, because my son was our first, and God blessed us with a daughter and also twin boys. I never think about twins. Only God could do that, because I told God, please help me. I'm accepting my son the way he is. Give me patience and help me. And with EWTN, with you guys, I have learned so much from Mother Angelica. Everybody from EWTN, God bless you. You just don't know how I know you guys know, but I am in particular, I have been helped a lot from all of you. And that's what I want to share. Debbie and Jerry, I saw you in live TV. You guys look so nice.
Oh, Eileen, you're very, very kind. God bless you. Thank you so much for the kind words. And thanks for being a second-time caller. I'm sure we have all of you in the prayer book, especially your son who suffered that brain damage. But again, if you would just remind us, since we always have new listeners who want to be praying for the intentions in the prayer book, Eileen, remind us of your son's name who fell in the pool and has that brain damage.
Absolutely. Lesage, Lesage. And we are the Dessalines family, Dessafalines.
Okay, all right, Lesage. Well, and praise God, you had the daughter and the twin boys, and you mentioned, I think you said the word patience is really how your perspective and your priorities have changed. And, marriage, let's face it, marriage and parenting is all about self-gift, total self-gift of, husband to wife, wife to husband, and then parents to kids. And you are called upon now to give perhaps a little bit more, or at least in a different way, Eileen, than other parents might who haven't gone through this issue with your son. But God bless you. I'm sure you have learned a lot, and I'm sure you and your husband have grown tremendously through this.
Absolutely. You're an inspiration to us, Eileen. You're incredible. And we just love your spirit. And thank you so much for the just kind words. You really brightened our day. So I can imagine that you brighten everybody's day that you encounter. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you, guys. God bless you. And have a blessed land.
Yes, blessed Lent. Absolutely. Can't wait till Lent's over with.
Thank you, Eileen.
Yeah.
Beautiful Lent to you and the family as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we are having such, the heart of the Take Two family. I just love them. They're just amazing. Incredible. Okay. Yeah. So Eileen's going to free that phone line for someone.
Yeah, we're talking today about if there was a life event or circumstances that changed your priorities going forward. What would that be? Explain that, because there's very likely someone listening who might be even going through the very same thing right now and not quite sure how they're going to maybe rebound, how they're going to move forward in their life given what has happened. So please share at 833-288 EWTN 833-288-3986. Okay, we will go to Virginia, Minnesota. Diana, listening on Real Presence Radio. Hi, Diana. Thanks for calling.
Hello. Thank you for listening and talking to us.
Sure, absolutely. It's a joy and a pleasure. Go right ahead.
So I have something that happened about 40 it must have been about 45 years, well, probably even longer, closer to 50 even. My husband and I married when we were 19. We married in the church. We were both raised Catholic. And then right after we got married, we chose not to go to Mass anymore, just out of laziness when I think back. But we didn't feel it was a necessary thing in our life. And then we had a couple of children, couple boys. And then one day we had some friends that we hadn't seen for a couple of years call us, and they had lived out of town, asked if they could come visit us. And I just laugh. I think how the Holy Spirit sends people to us to change our lives. So this young couple came to visit us. They had a couple of children, too. And when they entered in, they had a Bible in their hand, which Rick and I just looked at each other like, oh, boy, here we go. And sat down and started talking, and they kind of dove right in. They weren't Catholic. They were raised Lutheran, but left the Lutheran church for, I don't even know it was what the church was. But they proceeded to tell us that they came, of course, to save us, and asked if our children were baptized, and we said yes. And they proceeded to tell us that our children will probably go to hell because we had them baptized, because we didn't believe Jesus saved us. And then we had other discussions, and they left. And I remember looking at my husband saying, everything they said just doesn't sit right with me. And so that Sunday, I packed up my boys, invited my husband. He chose to stay home, and I went to Mass. And my whole life changed from that day on. I've learned learned to trust God, not myself, learned to give everything to Him. My husband did come back when we had two more children, 2 daughters. Mm-hmm. He came back when my oldest daughter made her first communion, and today he's a deacon in the church.
Wow.
And I have a son, I have 2 sons that were ordained priests, and one of them left the priesthood, active ministry, about 3 years ago. But I know for a fact that if those 2 people hadn't shown up, and I believe God sent them there, mm-hmm. we as a family would not be where we're at today. And I have 11 beautiful grandchildren from my other 2 daughters, mm-hmm. and I'm so blessed that everybody's practicing their faith and loves Christ so much. And so that's my story.
That is remarkable. Beautiful.
Oh, it is remarkable. Absolutely. So oftentimes we get these people in our lives, right? That Diana, that just rub us the wrong way, agitate us, irritate us. You know, the friction, the weird kind of sense. Oh. In this situation, those people were life changing, were soul changing for you and your family. I mean, this is huge. This is what movies are made of, Diana. This is awesome.
And they might not like to hear that, but we did exchange Christmas cards, and they would send me anti-Catholic stuff in the Christmas cards. And I would just send them, just thanking them for their faith and thanking them for coming to our doorstep, because it changed my life.
Yeah.
So,
you really struck a charitable pose with them, and that is so very, very important. You know, I mean, you have to really admire the zeal of many of those who, claim, faith in Christ and follow Him closely and love the Bible and all of that. Unfortunately, sometimes they really don't know the Bible that well. And just a couple examples of that, at the end of Matthew's Gospel before the Ascension, what does Jesus say? He says, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit." And mm-hmm. St. Peter, in 1 Peter 3:21, he writes, "And this water symbolizes baptism that now saves you." So, it's unfortunately sometimes selective, Bible verses. But again, I don't say this to be critical. It's just we have to really take the Scriptures as a whole, and we have to take them. The Church wrote the Scriptures and decided which books would be in the canon of Scripture, and so we need to follow the Church's teachings on all of these things. And
wow.
So. Anyway, beautiful though.
This is a powerful journey. Diana, thank you so much for sharing with us today. This really was amazing. Truly, I think a bit miraculous, if you will, because we were asking, and praying for before we started the show, these really, out of the box, extraordinary experiences. And wow, yours is just, a huge transformation, Diana.
Yes.
Yep. Look for Jesus every day in the Holy Spirit. He is there. That's all I can say. I see him move daily, and we miss so much, even when we're looking.
Yeah, we
that's
do.
So true. Oh boy, is that a true statement. We do. Diana, thank you so much. And thank your whole family for their vocations. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, please pray for us. We'll pray for you. Hope that you all have a blessed Lent, Diana. Thank you very, very much. Mm-hmm. That'll be an open phone line here in a moment. We have Russell coming up. We have Joe and Emma and Chad and Patrice. This is really shaping up to be another very beautiful, powerful, impactful conversation on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. We do hope that you will join us. Our topic that we will reset for you right now is what life event or series of circumstances changed your priorities. Again, it could have been something negative, maybe seemingly negative, like a tragedy at the time, or could have been something really good. Maybe like our last caller, you were jolted into returning to your faith by something that took place in your life. How were your priorities changed? 833-288 EWTN, 833-288-3986.
Okay, we're going to go to Fredericksburg, Texas, and Guadalupe Radio Network is the way Russell is listening. Hi, Russell, welcome. Oh, Russell, you know what? We're going to have to hold you for a second. I just looked at the clock. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties here, so I didn't see that the clock was coming up on us. So, Russell, can you please hang on, and we will get to that break, Jerry, and then come back to Russell. Russell, don't go anywhere from Fredericksburg, Texas. We want to talk to you. Please forgive me. I know that the Gremlins do not want us to have this show because everything technical that could go wrong today for me did. So there you go. That means we're doing something right. And we'll be right back on Take Two. Stay with us, guys. Everybody who's on hold, hang on. We'll get to you.
What if beauty was something more than we see? What if it was something we seek? I'm David Henry. We're traveling across Italy, exploring the people.
Well, I think I'm going to get used to it here.
The culture.
This is such a full circle moment for me.
And the sacred art to uncover the beauty that's been speaking to hearts for centuries.
Michelangelo has found the Lord at the end of his life.
It makes me emotional.
Along the way, I've met monks, musicians, artists, even a few fellow pilgrims.
Viva España!
And each one has helped me uncover deeper meaning.
Trying to understand the mind of Caravaggio. I get fired up about this stuff, man.
Because beauty isn't just decoration. It's the language of the soul. Come, join me to see how timeless beauty still speaks to us today and how it just might change the way we see everything.
Seeking Beauty with David Henry, streaming now on EWTN+.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie is on YouTube. Search YouTube to find the EWTN YouTube channel so you'll never miss an episode of our show or any of your favorite EWTN radio shows.
The most original and exclusive Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
We talk story with each of our very unique guests for the whole hour so that you can go deep with us as you yourself pursue your own story of heroic virtue and as you pursue intimacy with God.
The Bear Wozniak Adventure, Saturday night, 6 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Matt Swaim here. Tomorrow on the Sunrise Morning Show, we'll preview the Mass readings for the third Sunday of Lent with Father Hezekiah Carnazzo and Father Jonathan Duncan, plus news, weather, sports, and more. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Very good. Thanks for your patience waiting on the program here. We love, your calls and your takes. We're talking today about a life event or series of circumstances that changed your priorities. And as promised, we'll go back to Russell, who is in Fredericksburg, Texas, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Russell. Thanks for waiting with us. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. So go right ahead.
I just wanted to, I wanted to share this, a life movie, a life-changing, mind-altering kind of, change my perspective and my outlook, and I don't know, maybe derailed me for a second, but also at the same rate helped me find the right path forward. Was nearby was the floods over the summer, the 4th of July weekend. Absolute pain, destruction, and it's hard to weather that storm, but I just want to, it seemed like with all of those, with everyone dealing with everything going on, people wanted to start to look for someone to blame, or start to point fingers, or if someone needed to be held accountable for a flood happening and wiping out all these homes and these properties and whisking these beautiful lives away. It just doesn't need to be that way. It's not anyone's fault. And yes, as we are all currently or have done and maybe will face some pretty trying times, let's not look to point fingers or find blame or held someone accountable. Let's reach out a lending hand or have a shoulder to cry on, and let's be compassionate for our neighbors and the people around us. And we're all dealing with it. We're all going through stuff, and there might be more to come. And let's go. It's more painful for me to be in the middle of all of that pain and destruction and see what happened, but then to then deal with all of the nonsensical finger pointing, and that's, to me, that really bothered me more, and that was the toughest part of it all. But I just want to encourage everyone to just, hey, let's take a breath, let's take a step back and have some compassion, but also let's simplify things back down to, hey, let's stand up to it, let's handle these tough moments, but let's be compassionate and loving towards our neighbors, and not try to go blame, point fingers, and hold someone accountable for just a bummer storm and that caused a lot of pain and destruction.
Yeah. No, Russell, you're absolutely right. And, it's too bad. People feel bad enough during a time like that. And there are people, let's face it, lives were changed for the worse forever by what happened there. There are going to be a lot of people who will never really recover from that. It's a time to come together. And I know that so many people did that, thanks be to God. But unfortunately, sometimes emotions take over. And you mentioned taking that step back, that deep breath, and really just stopping for a moment and reflecting and pondering and saying, okay, how can we somehow find the better part of this? How can we come together and really recover and rebound as a community together in something like this? So I think you're absolutely right, Debbie. What do you think about it?
Well, and I think when we are met with such tragic and traumatic situations, I mean, it does require people to step up and really help each other and really look for the meaning of things, and to kind of reset everything and start fresh and really walk with each other and take the time. Unfortunately, Russell, we're in a world where everybody is racing around. I mean, it's unbelievable. They say that when you text somebody, you can get a response back in 8 seconds. I mean, this is unheard of. I mean, we're not really slowing down and walking with each other and kind of processing things. So any comments on that, or any words of wisdom you can share with the world, because you have a worldwide platform, Russell, and so what would you say to kind of reset and slow down and just really be with people?
It's a little bit intimidating having this platform for just a couple moments, and I maybe kind of was repetitive on the things I was saying, but what I wanted to refer to, and you both thank you for grabbing those little bits and pieces of what I was trying to insinuate. Was there was no there was no weather advisory, or people just didn't heed the warnings, or all this. I'm here. I was in it. There weren't those warnings, and even if they were people supposed to come knock and kick down my door and get me out of bed? It's just, that's unrealistic. It's silly. And in the midst of all of this destruction, why are we going to these moments like that, taking that stand? But yes, I would just like to reiterate just hey, let's all take a deep breath and weather the storm together. And exactly. Even though it is not the best, it's hard to picture this, but dance in the rain. I mean, can can we find some celebration? And yeah, you hinted at it, a silver lining somewhere in all of this. Find, the gem here that maybe we could all find something to relate and grasp a hold of each other and just say, hey, let's do this together. It's not great right now, but we can build and become something better out of all of this.
Yeah, I love it. I love you. You're so spot on. May I ask what age range you're in, what age bracket you're in?
I will be 36 on March 9th.
March 9th?
Wow.
Oh, how early. Happy birthday. So, Russell, has anyone ever told you you're like an old soul?
It happens, yes, yeah, here and there, for sure.
Yeah, you're pretty cool. I think it's awesome. We hope you have the most glorious birthday. I put you in the book, and we're going to say a special birthday prayer for you on March 9th, okay?
Hey, that's adorable. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thanks, Russell. Yeah, another great call. Thank you, brother, for stepping up and making that call. Very wise words that you shared, and we will definitely take those to heart. And appreciate you joining and participating in the program. Okay, Irma is next in Hollister, California, listening on EWTN.com. Hi, Irma. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
So my change was that I used to teach catechism, and then I had a child out of wedlock. So I was talking to God, and I said, I'm not worthy, and I'm not going to teach anymore. So I used to walk the track at 4:30 in the morning, and it's dark. So I was walking. I used to walk with a friend. But this day, she was on the other side of the track, and I was on this side. And I was walking, and then I looked up to the sky, and I saw a rabbit, just the face of a rabbit. And the eyes were like marbles, blue and green. And then I kept walking, and then the next round, I looked up again, and it was Jesus' face suffering, like the crown of thorns. And then after that, I kept walking, and I heard a voice, and it said, you need to do something for me. So I wanted to continue to talk to the voice, but it didn't say anything else. And then, so later on in the morning, I called to the church, and I got right in, and they told me there was a class meeting on Thursday, and so I went back to teaching.
Oh, beautiful.
So that was my change.
Yeah.
And I've been teaching ever since, and I've been celibate for a long time, and I've been teaching, and I didn't stop. I think for 3 years, and this happened in the year 2000. So I think I took 2 or 3 years off. I can't remember, but ever since then I've been teaching.
Wow. I'd love to hear your comments about Irma's story, Jerry, first, because I have a few thoughts about this.
Well, I just think it's another, beautiful phone call, Irma. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for just being authentic and being real, and what you experienced, what you went through. Yeah, we all do things. We make mistakes, if you can call it that, but you got a beautiful child out of this who now it sounds like is an adult, because you mentioned it was back in the year 2000. And thanks be to God, you had those experiences of the Lord, and you saw especially the face of Jesus, and you heard, I presume interiorly, that voice, saying, you need to do something for me. And the church, it sounds like, welcomed you back. And the good that you were doing before and that you have been doing since you returned there, it just can't be overstated, the good that you are doing, because teaching the faith is one of the most important things we can do, because there's nothing more important that we will go through in life than, the kind of that, we call it the final exam, being ready to meet God face to face. And you're preparing people to do that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Jerry said it beautifully, Irma. I just wanted to say that, you started off this call saying that initially you were going to give things up because you felt that, being unworthy. Irma, that is something that I think it's safe to say, wouldn't you say, Jerry, that all of us feel that way?
Sure.
I mean, when you're working with God, I mean, He is God. And it's like, well, of course we're going to feel that unworthiness, that we're not ready, we're not equipped, we didn't do things the perfect way or whatever. But then God shows Himself in such beautiful, gentle, and gracious and miraculous ways. And He did that with you, Irma. And I'm so grateful to God that He took the time, quote unquote, He took the time to really spend that and remind you how important you are and how you are on a plan and a purpose and a mission. And so God bless you for staying faithful. I think it's wonderful. Any final comments?
Yes. So when I heard the voice and I kept walking, and then I was, thinking, I go, okay, the rabbit means Easter, and then, Jesus died for us, and then the resurrection. So that's what entered my mind, that it was about Easter, Him dying on, first the rabbit, the Easter, and then Him dying on the cross, and then, resurrected for all of us. He died for all of us. And it was like, I did this for you. Can't you do something for me? Mm-hmm. So that's why I continue, yes.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, that is powerful.
Yes.
That is powerful.
There's a lot of stories, but that's the one that, I thought I would share.
Yeah.
Glad you did.
I hope you have written this down, Irma, so that you don't forget any of the details.
I had a friend of mine draw a picture of the rabbit and a picture of Jesus on, it was like the crowning of thorns. That's the way it looked to me. It was really, that's what it was. So I had somebody draw the pictures, and I haven't written it down, but I will.
Good.
Yeah,
because as we all age, as we get older, the memory starts to fade, and some of the details, especially when people have had moments with God or mystical encounters or anything like that, some of the details will fade as well. So we always tell people to journal, right, Jerry?
Absolutely. Yeah, and going back over those later, it can kind of maybe sometimes doubts will arise, or maybe even feelings of unworthiness will creep back in there again. So when you've got these memories, especially when they're written down and you go back over them again, Irma, these are very, very valuable, and they're priceless, memories that you would be able to, again, have recourse to any time in the future. So thank you so much for the call, Irma. We appreciate it hearing from you. We're talking today about any life event or circumstances that changed your priorities. Joe has been holding patiently in Duluth, Minnesota, and we'll go to Joe listening on Real Presence Radio today. Hello, Joe. Welcome.
Hello.
Howdy. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Okay. Well, what would you like to share with us on our topic today?
Yeah, you were talking about life events where that kind of changed the whole course of your life. Well, mine occurred back when I was a young boy, and my parents ended up getting divorced. And they'd been divorced for about 2-3 years after been divorced for about 2-3 years, and I was rummaging through my dad's house in the closet in my brother and I's our room, and I came across my parents' wedding album, and I opened that up and just started looking through there, and I could see aunts and uncles and my parents, their what they wore on their wedding and everything, and I'm just sitting in this closet as a teenage boy, and I just started bawling, just tears just streaming down my face. And at that point, I didn't realize it at the time, but years later I realized I was mourning the end of my parents' marriage. And in that moment of grief, I sat in there in the closet, and I made a vow that I was going to make my marriage work. I was going to be successful where my parents failed. And it took some time. But eventually I did come across the right woman, or the right woman came across me. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but yeah, we got married, and we've been married for 17 years. We have a lot of fun. We have 3 wonderful daughters, and yeah, we're just living life. But it's, I just look back on that, where it should have been a dark time for me, but God probably had his hand on my shoulders saying, I'm going to get you through this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he did.
He did.
Yeah. Ooh, I am so sorry you went through that as a young boy, a young man, and my sons went through it at a young age, and I could see it in their faces. The feeling like somebody just died. There was a death, and then the death was the divorce, right? And they were going through that same type of grieving process. But Joe, I have to tell you, for you to make that decision right there and then that you were going to break the cycle, you were going to change the direction, that also brings not only graces and blessings to your current marriage, but it brings blessings and graces to your entire family. So, Joe, your determination to change things, to make things different, benefits your parents, benefits, I think you said you have a brother, anybody else in your family, because God is all about that, being connected. So you went through a painful, like you said, the grief of that. It feels like a death. And Jerry, your parents went through a divorce, so you know that is too. It is so painful. That's why when people say, well, you shouldn't be, saying so many negative things about a divorce. Having gone through it, I can tell you that it is a breaking. It is a death. It forever changes people. In your case, Joe, it challenged you. It challenged you to go forth and make the best marriage you can make. And so God bless you for having that mindset, that shift in thinking, Joe.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, and just the only thing I can add is I remember when my brother John got married, I was best man at his wedding, and my parents divorced. I was about the same age as you were, Joe. So I had a lot of that same, hurt in my own life. And I just remember when we were all kneeling before receiving communion on the kneelers in the sanctuary of the church, I started bawling at my brother's wedding. And I'm not really sure to this day why, but I think it might have been as your call has kind of sparked me to think about this. Maybe I was thinking, well, he's doing in reverse what my parents did, kind of like you with your wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw that, and his wife, they've been married now, I don't know how many years, we're 40 years or so.
Wow.
They have 8 kids, and they've been very faithful and made it work as well. So
Yeah.
These are very powerful things that happen in our lives, Joe. Thanks be to God, what Debbie said, that you took this, what was really a hurt and a wound in your life, and you resolved and made that vow that you weren't going to do the same thing. You were going to make it work. So God bless you for that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Joe, we have full phone lines plus, but your story is so important because so many people are struggling right now with their marriages and with their life and their future. And so what you have to say is so critical and key to people making good choices. But Joe, I need to ask you a quick question. When we started off the call, we said, "How you doing, Joe?" And you just said, "All right." And may I ask why you chose that word? Are you okay?
My parents are getting aged and everything too, and just getting more news about their health and where they're at. My dad's had bad lungs for years, and it's basically a decision of, well, we're just doing care now or a transplant. But knowing my father, transplant just isn't in the. It just isn't in the cards.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of heaviness. Yeah. Joe, we put the whole family, your parents, your whole family in the prayer book. You're covered in prayer by the Take Two family. Please feel those prayers. Okay. And your name is Joe. Go to St. Joseph. Please go to St. Joseph during the month of March and ask St. Joseph to cover your family so that you can have that peace, that security, that feeling that, you can make sense of it all. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Joe. Thanks for taking the time to call in. We appreciate that very much. More calls coming up here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. It's Thursday. That means the world over with Raymond Arroyo tonight, and that is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jordan Peterson, a clinical psychologist, educator, and author, sits down with Raymond to talk about the power of biblical stories, today's toxic cultural environment, and his New York Times bestseller, We Who Wrestle with God. That's the world over with Raymond Arroyo tonight, 8 Eastern Time on EWTN TV and radio.
Boy, do I love the Take Two family. They're already on top of everything. They're already praying for Joe and his family. Joe, I hope you feel the prayers. Emma in Hayden, Idaho is up next listening on the EWTN app. Emma, welcome.
Hi. So
Hi, Emma.
I had 2 catechism events happen in my marriage. And the first one, my husband gave me a venereal disease when I was 7 months pregnant with my second son.
Oh, no.
I know. It was horrible. But I thought my marriage was over, and my pastor at the time challenged me, and he said, don't leave until God tells you could leave. And God never did. And he totally healed our marriage.
Wow.
And we look back at that and realize it was a blessing in disguise. What man is meant for evil, God can use for good.
Mm-hmm.
And then later in life, I was molested as a child, and then my daughter was molested.
Oh,
and it was one thing that God didn't protect me, but he didn't protect my baby. So I started drinking. I became a raging alcoholic, and it almost killed me. And I got in the rooms of AA, and I realized I was being a martyr. I was complaining to my sponsor, you drink too if this happened to you. And she said, Emma, get off the cross. We need the wood. And that was my aha moment. And I realized I wasn't going to get any more sympathy for the things that had happened in my life. And I worked. And in AA, we have a saying that says we will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. And God healed me. It was not me. It was him. And I have the point where people come and stay in our house and there's alcohol in the house and it doesn't call my name anymore. Mm-hmm. But both of those horrible situations, we could have crashed and burned.
Yeah, you could have crumbled.
We waited until, and so God can take anything, and turn it around for good.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
What a journey.
What a journey indeed. And we have the extreme, supreme example of that, of course, that God can take anything that is bad, turn it into good. With Jesus, of course, himself giving his life on the cross, which we're moving toward now during the season of Lent. But God bless you, Emma, for taking the time and, just having the courage to share what you shared on the radio here. So many difficult things that you have gone through. But, I think there was whoever said that saying to you, I'd never heard that before, get off the cross, we need the wood. Maybe that was a moment of tough love that you just needed to have spoken to you, and that it sounds like it really sort of snapped you out of a place where you were and has helped you to become the woman that you are today, which sounds like a very strong, I would say very pious, very, very grateful woman. Debbie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just getting so emotional from Joe's call and now to your call, Emma. I mean, the strength that you have and continue to demonstrate. I mean, it's incredible. Emma, you are a thriver. It's so obvious. You're not a survivor. You're a thriver. And God bless you.
Thank you. I'm a fighter.
Yeah, you are. You are in a beautiful way. And I think it's just, and I love how you're so open and receptive to the Lord and what the Lord wants, because a lot of spouses, a lot of women would have walked away from their husbands with the first, hit that you got from that. And then what happened with, your daughter, it's so painful, but you persevered. So God bless you, Emma. Many blessings to you. That's what my prayer is for you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Emma.
Wow.
Boy, oh
Do
boy.
I love the Take Two family? I just wish we could stay on another hour because we have Milton and Christina and Paul and the others. And Jerry, we didn't get to them.
Yeah, you hear the music there. We are so sorry, Christina. It sounds like you had an amazing story to share. We always do Unscripted near the end of the month. Keep listening for that. You're welcome to call with any topic that you want on our Unscripted shows. Fortunately, we just are out of time here today, but it has been I think it's been a life-changing show for me, Debbie, and I think for the show team as well.
I totally agree. Thank you to the show team. Matt, Michael, and Rich did a great job. Thank you to all the affiliates that carry Take Two. Tomorrow is our Real Presence show where we shout to the world how much we love the Eucharist. So please stop what you're doing during Take Two tomorrow and call in. Right, Jer?
Well, I'm usually at my pastoral assignment on Fridays, but I'm on spring break this week, so I get to be on the Real Presence show tomorrow. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders from EWTN's Called to Communion. I want to let you know that I've joined the staff at Stand Tall Life Coaching. If you're struggling to put the Catholic faith into practice because of habitual